Good morning. It is Monday, February 10th, 2025. It's 9 o'clock, and this is a special meeting of the Jefferson Public Utility District Board of Commissioners. My name is Jeff Randall. I'm president of the board and calling this meeting to order. Jefferson PUD will be offering both virtual online meetings as well as in-person meetings unless advance notice is provided. Online participant audio will be muted upon entry. Please unmute at the appropriate time to speak. And if you're calling in, use *6 to mute and unmute and *9 to raise a hand to request to speak. So let's get our quorum established. My name is Jeff Randall. I'm Commissioner for District 1 and President of the Board.
Dan Tupper, Commissioner for District 3.
Kenneth Collins, Commissioner, District 2.
All right, we're all present. We have one item on our agenda. It's the Washington State Auditor's Accountability Audit. Can I have a motion to accept the agenda unless is there anything to add? Nope. Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All in favor of approving the agenda, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Aye. Okay. Who do we have?
So I'll go ahead and jump in here. We have Jennifer and Vinny with the State Auditor's Office. They're going to present on our 2023 accountability audit. We did have a good audit. So, and Jennifer, I would work directly with her. It was a good, easy, it's probably one of the easiest ones. It seems like it went smoothly, very quickly. So just glad for everything that they do for us. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Jennifer and Vinny and let them present their findings on the audit.
And Mike, just for clarification, you said the 2023. So
this is the 2023 accountability audit.
Okay, cool.
Yes, thanks everyone for your interest in this meeting. It's not always that we have the whole Board of Commissioners interested at our entities in both the entrance conferences that we hold at the beginning of the audit, as well as these exits to go over the results. So we appreciate you being so invested in the audit process and wanting to hear about our results. So like Mike mentioned, the audit we performed did focus on 2023. We typically start those audits in the fall for entities like yours, where we don't have a strict deadline to complete this particular accountability audit that we performed. So we just wrap things up at the beginning of the year. So we're glad to share the results of that with you. So just to let you know, Jen did share our official exit packet with you previously. That has our draft audit report, as well as the exit document we have, contains some official info we have to share with you. But I will be pulling up our PowerPoint presentation. It works much better for these hybrid type meetings. So I will go ahead and get started, and that should be coming up shortly for you.
It's up.
Perfect. So just to get you a little prepped, whether you're new to the audit process or have been through many in the past, we think that understanding the audit results is important to both establishing and maintaining good government. First off, our audits help build trust in your organization by letting you know which things are working well, and if there's any areas that might need some fine tuning. We liken our audits to shining a light on areas that are important to the residents that you serve, external stakeholders, as well as your own employees. And secondly, as an independent organization that typically conducts over 2,700 audits of both state agencies and local governments each year, our audits can be relied on to provide transparent results directly to your residents through our audit reports that are published and made available to the public. And lastly, any recommendations that we do make as part of the audit process are made to assist your government in order to help continue improving your efficiency and effectiveness of your operations. So our goal today is to make sure you understand the results of the audit that we performed and answer any questions that you have for us. So I'll pass things off to Jen, who will talk about the areas and results of our accountability audit.
Okay. So for your district, we conducted an accountability audit that covered the period of January 1st, 2023 through December 31st of 2023. The purpose of the accountability audit is to determine whether the district complied with state laws, regulations, contracts, and its own policies and procedures. In addition, these audits look at whether the district in general has adequate controls to safeguard public funds. On page 7 of the exit conference handout that was sent out, under the results in brief heading, you'll see that our audit found that district operations complied in all material respects with applicable state laws, regulations, and its own policies, and provided adequate controls over the safeguarding of public resources. In selecting specific areas for further review, we conducted a number of planning procedures that incorporated reviewing the meeting minutes of the governing body for the period, analyzing trends in financial data, including payroll and vendor information. We conducted risk assessments with key staff and commissioners. We utilized a risk-based approach to select areas for further testing based on those planning procedures. Included on the slide are the areas that we identified for further testing in our audit. We chose to review accounts payable, general disbursements, employee reimbursements, and electronic fund transfers. We looked at payroll, gross wages, overtime, electronic fund transfers, and bonus and incentive payments. And we looked at procurement, public works, purchases, and purchasing exemptions. As part of our review of payroll, we gained an understanding of controls and reviewed reports received from the district. We selected transactions for testing, which included gross wages, overtime, and bonus and incentive payments. We reviewed supporting documentation to ensure that transactions were for district purposes, appropriately calculated, approved, and paid. We noted no concerns. As part of our planning, we also examined open public meeting requirements by reviewing compliance with minutes, meetings, and executive sessions. We also review for indications of financial distress, and we noted no concerns in these areas. The district previously received a management letter for procurement issues related to ensuring compliance with state law when making purchases. More specifically, making sure staff understood requirements to use bidding exemptions. We followed up on this and determined that it had been resolved. To kind of close up on my end, I just want to thank district officials and staff for timely communications throughout the audit process. It always makes our audit go a lot smoother, a lot quicker. In particular, I'd like to thank Mike Bailey for open communication and his positive attitude toward the audit process. Whenever I asked for anything, I always got it within a timely manner, and he was always open and willing to answering any questions I had, which always makes things go a lot smoother. Oh, Vinny, I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, we really appreciate all Mike's efforts. Understand your financial audits already underway at this point. And our office also performs a clean energy audit during the year. So must feel like he's dealing with auditors year round. So we appreciate him working with us and helping move the audit along. So there's just a few closing remarks we have to share with you as part of our presentation.
I think our Commissioner Collins has a question maybe on the audit or on Jennifer's presentation.
Yeah, I may be anticipating Vinny's remarks. I wonder if there are any soft issues that represent opportunities for improvement.
Yes, we did have a couple, I believe it was 3, what we call exit items. Those are minor recommendations that we typically have in just about every audit that we perform. We shared those with Mike and let him know about those. We don't typically discuss those or bring them up to the board since they're pretty minor items, and we don't think they need to be brought up to the board's attention. But if you prefer to hear about those, I should be able to pull them up on my end and at least discuss them briefly if that's what you prefer.
Ken, did you want to have him go ahead with that?
Well, if the other commissioners are also interested, that's fine. Otherwise, I can accept what Vinny says. And we don't need to get into minutia here if it's really not relevant for commissioners.
Were those the issues that came out in email from Mike?
Yeah, I believe I sent those, but
Yeah.
I'll resend them after this.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. I have a question. As part of your audit, did you go back and look at the accountability audit previous to this one to see if there were any recommendations or findings in that audit, and if we had made progress or made corrections to policy? I'm just kind of curious as to the results of the previous audit and what we had done between then and now, if that was part of the process you looked at.
Yes, our audit focuses on the current time period that we're auditing. So for this audit, we focused on 2023. And then when we're planning our current audit, one of the areas we consider are the previous recommendations we had. And then we always follow up with Mike on those to see what the current status of those is. So any minor recommendations we had, we check in with him and see what sort of changes or actions the district took on those. And then we consider, whether or not we want to do any additional follow-up on those in the current time period we're looking at. And then the district did have one middle level recommendation from the audit, that previous management letter that was part of our presentation. So for that, we're not going back and doing additional testing for that would have been the 2022 fiscal year. Our focus is on the next year that we're auditing and making sure that the district took action on it and address some of those issues we found with the bidding process and making exemptions for emergency purchases. So that was our focus this year. And then, like Jen mentioned, we're happy to say we found that those issues were resolved for the time period we looked at.
Okay. And we have been taking lots of action on our procurement manual and bidding process and all those sorts of things. So that does sound familiar.
Okay, perfect.
Go ahead, Vinny, if you have your closing then.
Yes, just have a couple slides left here. We are happy to share that our audit costs are within our original estimate. We'll probably be a little bit under that estimate. And then as far as the next audit goes, it'll be pretty similar to this audit, covering 1 year. So in the fall, sometime this year, we'll perform another accountability audit covering fiscal year 2024. Then we also shared an estimate of the cost for the next audit. We are expecting it to be the same as the current audit that we just concluded. And then as far as the audit report publication goes, we expect that to be published and made available to the public on our website sometime in the next 1 to 2 weeks. If you'd like to, you can sign up to receive email notifications when reports are released on our website, as well as other news articles and alerts that our office publishes in our bi-weekly email. In addition to that, once the report is published, we'll be sending a customer service survey over to Mike and Kevin. So we appreciate their input. We always like to hear about things that went well on the audit that we should keep doing in the future, or anything we can do to improve on to make it easier on you and help things go more smoothly. We're always looking to get your feedback. And if anyone else is interested in providing feedback, they can forward that survey link onto them as well. So that concludes our presentation about our 2023 accountability audit. So again, we want to thank you for your time today and for participating at this meeting. So at that point, we don't have anything else to share, and we'd be happy to take any last questions or comments you have for us.
Okay, commissioners, any more questions or comments?
No, I met with Jennifer online and answered a few questions for her. And beyond that, it was a great smooth process as usual. Thanks to Mike and the staff and everybody for getting the information to the auditors. And thank you to the auditor's office for your communications. Great job by everybody. Thank you.
Okay.
So thank you for all your assistance, both internal staff and our auditors.
Yeah, and I would agree. It's nice to have a non-dramatic audit. I love it. And that takes a lot of work by everybody because following the rules is not always easy. And sometimes it requires changes to be made with current practices. So we appreciate all the effort. Do we have any members of the public that wanted to make any comments or had any questions?
I think they're all staff on there.
Not seeing any. Okay.
Yeah, I'd just like to say again, thank you to Jennifer and Vinny. It was a smooth, and with Jennifer, every time we get them, I talk to them, some of the early meetings, learning PUDs, because we're not, we're a quasi government. So, it's always a little bit of a learning curve, but this one was a good learning curve, not getting the experience, not always understanding how we do it. So just thank, Vinny and Jennifer for, working with us. And yeah, it was a great audit. And I also like to thank my own team, Amanda Isaac, Melissa Blair, Cara Rogers, Teresa Guys, Kathy Palmer, and Morgan Higdon, who have done a great job and always do a great job. And that's part of the reason we always get these smooth audits. So
Thank you, Mike, and your team. Okay, well, if there's nothing else, we have completed our business for the day, and it is now 9:17, and our meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.